So, hello and welcome to Books That Make the World Better. I'm your host, Jennifer Browdy, and I'm so happy to have with me today Mary Klug, who is the author of Butterfly Dreams, Delving into China, Cross-Cultural Friendships, and the Environment. So, welcome, Mary.
Hi, Jennifer.
So, you and I have been meeting and talking for years now
Yes,
as you've
yes,
worked on this book. Yeah.
I have. I first met you when you contacted me because of the Pachamama Alliance, because of you joining the Pachamama Alliance. And then when I found out that you were had written books about memoir, I was intensely interested in that because I was in the midst of working on my memoir, which seems like it's been forever. But that's okay because years and years ago is when it all started. So, yeah, so it was great being with you. I was with you in Italy during your memoir class, and I think we solidified our commitment to this book of purpose. So,
Yeah, I don't
at
know if you
least
can
that's,
can see it. I'm holding it up here. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful book, and
Thank you. I'm very proud of it and appreciative of all the help and work that you did with it too. Oh, obviously, being
yeah,
my publisher and editor.
yeah, I think maybe people have the idea that you can just write a memoir just like that, but it takes a lot. And I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
talk a little bit about all the different drafts and iterations.
yeah. Well, back in the 90s, after I had been in China for 10 years, going back and forth to China for 10 years, I was thinking about and writing uh, for the U.S. China Review. I'm a member of the U.S. China People's Friendship Association, and I was writing articles for them. I did actually get one article published in the Boston Globe about climbing a mountain in China. And so there were pieces already started when I got serious, oh, about 10 years ago. I started putting things together. And then serious
Mhm.
when actually when a little before COVID hit, and that's when I was working in a writers group here in Marblehead. So it's been a combination of looking at 40 years of going to China and what my relationships with China have been, which have been from traveler to teacher. I wound up teaching, taking a leave from Delta Airlines, where I was a flight attendant for 3 years uh, in the 90s. I took a leave of absence and I was in China for 3 years teaching English as a second language. And then the big thing that wound up happening. Oh, I also was leading tours, friendship tours for the U.S. China People's Friendship Association. And then in 2011, I saw a symposium for the Pachamama Alliance, a symposium, Awakening the Dreamer, Changing the Dream. And that brought me over there as a advocate for our earth, looking at the environment, and also at social justice, how important social justice is along with the environment also. So, social justice work, environmental work, all of those things kind of all culminated when I saw this symposium and said, can I take this to China? And so that's what I did. So, two major shifts. When I was on the seat on the airplane back in 1982 with my colleague who said to me, Mary, you've got to get to China before it changes too much. And then sat there and told me all these things about China and how it had just opened in the last few years and how the people were so wonderful and how, but it was going to change. It was going to change. Get there before it changes too much. And I did. And that was a big, big pivot in my life. And then the next pivot was this one in 2011 in relationship to China, because I started taking the Awakening the Dreamer, Changing the Dream Symposium to China. And that was really, really major.
Yeah. Well, you just sketched in a lot, 40
It's been a
years,
lot,
40
yes.
years.
40 years.
So, um, let's see. Let's see where to dive in here.
Okay.
Let's go back to 1982 or 83 and being a
Okay.
flight attendant. You were already
Hmm.
traveling all over the world, right?
Yes, I was. I had been traveling all over the world. I was really interested in archaeological places, so had gone to the pyramids, both in Egypt and in South America and the Yucatan, and so I just really
Hmm.
enjoyed traveling and looking at what our past was
Mm-hmm.
archaeologically. So those were major places. That even included Greece and Italy and I did do a trip over to uh, which was not necessarily archaeological, but I did do a trip to the east, to Thailand and Japan and Hong Kong, but not mainland China, because mainland China was closed up until the late 1970s.
Right.
So,
They had
so
been going through their cultural revolution and
yeah, and all of that. Yeah.
oil. Yeah. So
But I
when you
do remember standing on top of the New Territories was south, just a little bit south of China, of the red China, what they said then. And I remember standing on this mound with a group of people looking over at red China. Oh my heavens! So yeah, that was my first glimpse, I suppose, of China.
hmm. So yeah, when you first got there, can you say a little bit about what it was like, what you found?
Well, when we came home, all of the people that I went with, we all said it felt like going to Mars. The people had not seen people from other parts of the world very much at that point, and so we were a commodity, and they were a commodity. That's a terrible word, but I remember
Curiosity, right?
curiosity is a much better word. Thank you very much. Yes, definitely. Curiosity. Yeah, we were curiosity. I remember being in our tour bus, and we're all plastered our faces against we were stopped, and we were looking out at a sea of faces looking up at us.
Mm-hmm.
So the curiosity went both ways.
Mm-hmm.
But so the people were really incredible, and I fell in love with the people. I also fell in love with the philosophies. I didn't really know very much about Buddhism or Taoism or actually Confucianism. So I, when I came back, I made a search. I researched and learned more about those philosophies. And when I went back, I aimed to go back without the safety net of a tour and to go on my own. The lady who was our national guide, which means going around the country with us, she and I became friendly, and she helped me put together a return trip.
Hmm.
and so that I could be on my own. But boy, was that, it's in the book, boy, was that ever a challenge. And I really enjoyed challenging myself to do something different. And that was a big challenge. So I went back and went to Inner Mongolia, and I went to uh, Confucius's hometown, Chufu, and I went to Taishan, where uh, emperors of old went to watch the sunrise, and I I just really fell even more deeply in love with China through the people again. Once again, I met people and her philosophies, and particularly Buddhism and Taoism. Confucianism is a little bit too against my feminine side, but I still, it helped me to understand what China's about
Hmm.
and their people. So uh, yes, Buddhism and its philosophies just felt so much more like I felt inside than my Catholic upbringing.
Yeah.
So that was a healing for me, definitely, to learn of Buddhism and to understand it a little bit more and to meditate and calm part of my inherited OCD, my obsessive compulsive disorder has been a challenge in my life. And I think that meditating has been very, very helpful when it comes to that. And to think of the sayings, even right now on, I'm on Facebook, and I have one of the feeds is a Buddhist feed. And every day I read that, and I need it. I still need those um, sayings and beliefs, and reminder that if my mind isn't nice and level, any decisions I'm making are being affected by the upheaval of waves or the storm or whatever it is. So that's extremely important to me.
So you didn't know Chinese when you first went, right?
No, I knew ni hao and xie xie. I think I learned xie xie, thank you, when I got there. And the ni hao, those, we were a chorus. The people that I was with, we were a chorus of ni haos, and of course the ni haos back to us. So that, which is hello, of course. And so learning Chinese was, I am not a natural language learner, but boy, did I learn that determination was the most important part of learning a language. And I wanted to connect with people on a more personal level, and that was how I was going to be able to do it, at least to some extent. And so I really did it, and I was so happy. I was so happy that I did what I did do, all of that learning, because being able to show the people that I was involved enough with China to be learning at least simple parts of their language was really, really well appreciated by the Chinese people. Well, you can imagine.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can imagine. I mean, it's not an easy language to learn, and it was great. I mean, I can remember being on trains and being able to have very simple conversations with the attendants, and oh, how much fun was that. And I have to admit, back then the steam engines coming into the station and the announcements over the speaker in Chinese, and I try to catch as many words as I could possibly catch. And there the steam was. I know I know the electric trains are so much better for the country, and I am well aware of that. But the romance of the steam engine coming into the station was, I'll never, ever, ever forget that. It's just, I felt like I was in my own movie.
Hmm.
I
So you
really, yeah.
mostly you traveled by train?
Yes, yes. Traveling by train was the main thing in China, and overnight on trains. Oh my gosh, I would be in uh, they had a four bed compartments, and so I would usually have to share with other people, but that was all right because that was part of the whole thing. And I would just lie there on that bed and look out and just watch the countryside go by. Oh, I loved it. That was one of my favorite things to do in China, was to go from one place to another on the train. Yeah, flying was not like it is now. Now it's well, but they also now have the electric trains, the fast trains, and that, you know, that that also can take you from one part of the country to another part. So,
Because it's huge. It's at least as big as the United States, right?
oh yeah,
China,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. Was there a part of China that you spent more time in or focused on?
good question. I lived in Hangzhou. That's where I lived, and I loved Hangzhou. Hangzhou is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. And Marco Polo visited Hangzhou in,
Oh,
in the 12th century. You can believe that.
yeah.
And he said, heaven is above, and Suzhou is another beautiful, beautiful canal city, below, meaning comparing Hangzhou and Suzhou to heaven.
Mm,
And it is. Westlake is an incredibly beautiful area, and I loved it. It was like a second home for me for a long time.
hmm.
Definitely. I like Beijing, hustle and bustle of Beijing. And in later years, when I was doing the symposium in China, I travel a lot to Chengdu, where the pandas are.
Hmm.
And I spent a lot of time at an eco village outside of Chengdu. And also a place called Zhou, which is in Shandong province. And that is where Solar Valley is. And Solar Valley was very, very instrumental in my environmental work.
Hmm. Yeah. So the first what, let's see, 1983 to 2011 or so
Mm-hmm.
years where you were more focused on teaching English, like that's what you were doing with
I was focused on teaching English, but I was also focused by the 90s on friendship work.
friendship work. So talk about that.
Yes, the U.S. China People's Friendship Association, which is the U.S. part of the Friendship Association, and in China, it's the friendship with foreign countries. And so, when I was a little girl, I have no idea why a nun said to we children in grammar school, believe it or not, she said, don't worry about Russia, worry about China. I have no idea why this woman said this, but she did. And that stayed in my mind. And so I went to China, fell in love with it, loved this place, wondered what the heck she was talking about. And then I became involved when I was starting to learn Chinese. There was a big in Cambridge near me. There's was the U.S. China People's Friendship Association. So let's go there, meet Chinese people, and teach English there, and learn more about China. So they were sponsoring tours to China, and I thought, oh, I want to take a tour to China. I myself want to bring a tour to China. So part of my reasoning was, if we know each other, we're not going to want to have war, I guess is what the ultimate thought was. And so I started to take Friendship Association, uh, use the Friendship Association to take tours over to China. And I called mainly from my airline group because we have passes to Hong Kong. And so it was easy for us to get to Hong Kong. Then we went up into China. And so it was, that was very, very fulfilling. I did 4 or 5 of those friendship tours, and got to introduce people to China, and that was very, very fulfilling. So social justice issues are really an important part of what I now am also involved with, because of the challenges that China and the US are involved in right now. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of interesting to watch the winds and see if their winds are, they call, that's how we say the winds. Are the winds warm? Are the winds cold? Are the winds hot? And the winds have changed over these 40 some years, more than 40 years. So one needs to always be aware of that. You just, I try not to be a Pollyanna about my relationship with China. I try to see it with a fairly clear, like I was talking about before. I want the waters to be level and not churning, so that I'm uh, seeing the relationship with a reality.
Hmm. So the winds, you mean the winds of,
Winds of change, the winds of change.
yeah,
So, what is the relationship between the world, and then more particularly the US, with China?
yeah. So when you first went, we're a curiosity. There were very few Westerners there, very,
Right.
so people were just interested, you know.
Yeah.
And then and then how has it changed in terms of the relationship with the people that you would meet there?
Well, we certainly, the Chinese people have become much, much more sophisticated, and now it's their grandchildren that are seeing us, and they're much more sophisticated and still lovely and sweet. And
They're traveling now. Chinese people are
they are traveling now, yes. And actually, there's Salem State, which is right down the street from me, has an exchange program with Nanjing University. So I think with a university in Nanjing. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly which one it is. And I attend a poetry translation class with them on Thursday nights.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So I'm trying to stay involved, listen to the Chinese, because I've forgotten so much of it. And it's so nice to hear them chattering, and I'm catching at least some of what they're saying. And yeah, so it's a way for me to get more involved once again with the U.S. China peoples, or with the Chinese people.
Mhm.
And I am involved. I'm the vice president of the U.S. China People's Friendship Association, New England, and we're trying to renew our memberships and to renew our relationship with the Friendship Association in China, um, because there was a hiatus there for a little while.
Mhm.
So,
This organization just promotes events like friendship events or
well, yes, we do promote friendship events, and I'll be going down to a Chinese New Year party. Happy New Year's, by the way, Gong Xi Fa Cai and Xin Nian Kuai Le. Um, Actually, I'm going down to a big event in Chinatown that's sponsored by an organization other than U.S. China People's Friendship Association, but we will be a part. We will be there celebrating with them on Chinese New Year. So the Year of the Horse,
you're the
and
horse.
I know you love that because of all of your, yeah, your interest in riding. So. Uh, uh, but we in the past we used to take the student in the 90s. We were very the U.S. China People's Friendship Association was very active in taking the scholars from China and their families on field trips, and I'm hoping to we're hoping to perhaps see if that can happen again. So we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
It's changed a lot in those 30 years. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not so much the scholars with their families coming over. It's more the kid, at least as far as I know, the kids coming over, like at Salem State and doing a part of an exchange program. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have several Chinese students in my
Do you? Okay.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
finished reading Hamlet, and they were very interested in,
Really? Wow. Did they go see Hamnet?
I'm going on Thursday. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, quite a movie. Quite a movie. It left me stunned. So it was quite good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but
Put in a plug for Hamnet.
yeah, but it's interesting to try to think about how Hamlet looks from a Chinese perspective.
Yeah. Wow. That is, you're right. How would they receive that?
Yeah.
Good
Even
question.
ghost, the ancestors and the ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So okay, so then let's talk about the 2011 Great Awakening that you had.
wow. Yeah.
Mm.
That symposium really woke me up to what is happening in our world. I knew it on to some level, but they take you on a journey with the Awakening the Dream or Changing the Dream symposium to allow to have you wake up to what's happening in the world. And that was back in 2011. And um, I really at that time I was I had been retired from Delta Airlines, and my niece, who I was helping, my sister had adopted a Chinese girl, and my niece, who I was helping with a lot of um, her, she was, I'm sorry, I was helping her with as a tutor and an auntie. As a tutor and an auntie. But she was growing up. She was 15, 16 years old, and I was needing something different. And so I saw this poster at the flyer at the library nearby here, and said something about awakening the dreamer, and I thought it was about dreaming course. Oh boy. So there I go. I go to this not knowing what I'm going to do. I went to the Unitarian Universalist Church here in Marblehead, and boy, there was a shift in my life. I walked out of there going, can I take this to China? And so the next,
Wait. But
wait. Okay.
what were they saying that you wanted to take to China? What was the
Well, what they were saying is we need to shift how we see, how we treat ourselves, others, and the earth. And that the earth is our mother, and that we are using its resources faster than we can replenish its resources.
Mhm.
And we're doing that for various reasons, but part of the reason is because we've lost touch with the fact that we are one with each other and with the earth and with the universe. And losing touch with that connection has caused different challenges. And loneliness is one of them. Thinking that more and more possessions will make us happy. And China at the time was in a transition where I was seeing where that whole concept of more and more, you know, let's have what the Americans and the rest of the world have. And so I knew that that was part of what was going on there. And it was a delicate balance to have to ride, because yes, they have the right to have a good life and to have to have things. But when does it topple over into what we in the West have done, where we're compromising our earth? And so that needed, I think, to be talked about. And what was interesting was that I wound up finding a spiritual group that believed in eco villages, and that believed in solar energy, and that linked me from one group of people to another group of people who had the same concepts and wanted to get that out to people. And the symposium was the perfect way to do that. And so that's what happened. It took a while. It took a couple of years to get that, that stronghold. But by 2025, I had a decent amount of teams. We had a decent amount of teams over there, and we were at the point where we were having more desire for me as the foreigner to come over and talk to them about this and facilitate the symposium that I had the energy for.
2020 2025 last year?
Did I say 2025? I am so sorry. 2015. Good catch. Good catch. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So from 2011 to 2015, thank you, Jennifer. We I That was the time period that the Awaken the Dreamer, Changing the Dream Symposium got a real foothold into China. 2015, folks. And
Oh, wait,
after that, we started doing training so that the Chinese people themselves could be doing the symposium. And that is what happened. And so between 2015 and 2019, I continued going over, I continued training the trainers, I continued we continued developing our teams.
Okay, so let's just back up a little further to
Okay.
Pachamama Alliance. If people don't know
Pachamama Alliance, right?
what Alliance is, what can you describe what that organization is?
They started, Lynn and Bill Twist, along with John Perkins, became involved with the Achuar that are an indigenous group in the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Their dream culture. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and share their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a dream that the West was coming in, something was coming in and was going to be destroying their life. And it turned out that, of course, oil companies were going into the Amazon and extracting oil. And what the Achuar said to Bill and Lynn and John was, yes, you could come down here and help us, but the whole world needs help. And the whole world needs to know that it needs to shift and that it needs to get in touch with the land again and get in touch with the spirit of Pachamama. Pachamama means Mother Earth in the simple way, but it also means all of life.
Mm-hmm.
So by 2005, the Pachamama Alliance realized that they needed a vehicle to teach the world about what was happening. And so they developed the Awakening the Dreamer, Changing the Dream Symposium, which is in basically a 3 to 4 hour symposium. But you can take the essence of it in 5 minutes, or you can. My first symposium was 2 days in Hangzhou with teachers of English, and I used it as a teaching tool to teach them about the environment. So I got very, very grounded in the symposium by breaking down the sections and teaching them in a very deep way. So,
Yeah, and
yes,
you go through that in the memoir. Uh,
yes,
yeah, and China has come a long way in terms of thinking about the environment. I mean, yeah, so I think Americans have had the impression that it's like if they burn coal in China, it's a dirty place. It's just industrializing. But I think
and
you see a different side of China in the.
it has changed so much, Jennifer. It's changed so much. The last 2 trips that I took over there, they are working on the environment. I've been reading websites about they're well ahead of us with solar energy, with wind turbines. Um, they they admittedly they were, how do I put this? Yes, they know they produced a lot of carbon because they were trying to raise the standard of the people there and their living. Okay, and they raised it, and yes, there was a carbon problem, and there still is, but they are determined to be leaders in the world with solar, and they are, and I'm reading that they're well ahead of us,
And
and we have a lot to learn from them.
electric cars, electric trains.
Yes, yeah, and they're taking it to other parts of the world.
Mhm.
That's what's happening. They're filling the need in other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see us, we in the United States, have an influence that way also. Um,
We have work to do.
we, we, we have a lot of work to do. And the whole thing about AI, that's another whole thing. They're working a lot on AI. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting time in the next couple of years to see where this all goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm optimistic because they are doing so much so much work with the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the rest of the world recognizes that from what I understand right now. Lots of different delegations from different parts of the world are over talking to Xi Jinping. So,
Yeah, your book kind of shows the importance of developing individual relationships
mm,
between humans. I mean, there's the big level of treaties
mm-hmm,
and all of that. And then there's just what individual people
exactly, exactly.
you're really modeling for us in the book, I think.
Well, I hope so. And I, yes, that is what I'm hoping to do because the more we know each other, the less we're apt to do something that would harm each other. And that's so between that and the earth and the remembering that we are one, what we do to one another and what we do to the earth and what we and how we treat ourselves too, because that's an important part. And that has been one of my biggest challenges in life because of my OCD and treating myself with that gentleness that sometimes I can treat other people with or the earth with, but sometimes I fail with myself. And I'm getting better at that. I'm
Mm,
getting I'm getting better. But I don't think people realize how sometimes how much inner dialogue is negative and and and
mm,
and has to be retrained, has to be looked at in a take that negative and shift it into a positive way of saying it. That doesn't mean denying something that's happening, but it does mean shifting the thinking from saying something in a negative way to saying it in a more positive way.
mm-hmm. Was it
And
was
I've
it
been working on that.
was it hard to um, sort of overcome your inner critic and letting the memoir out into the world?
Yes, I still, I still think, oh my heavens, people have read some of that personal stuff and they look at me and see the and think about that. I do. I still even wonder. I wonder about that. But then that's when I have to turn it to a positive and say, okay, you're just revealing human nature things and everyone is human and that's reading this and they probably relate in some way. I have to do that. That's the turning it into the positive. Oh yeah, but yes, I had did don't you remember me struggling with that, Jennifer? Oh my. Yeah, no, I just decided to put it all out there, didn't I?
Well,
You have to buy the book and read it to see what I'm talking about.
yeah, you did it, in a purposeful way. You had reasons for what you
I
were
did. Oh, I definitely did. No question, I did.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you look into the future, like the next, let's say 20 years, What do you have any predictions for us? Anything, what do you want to see or hope to see?
I would love to see us as humans listening to what the earth is telling us, which is, I'm your mother, I'm here for you. Treat me so that I will be here for you and your children and your children's children in the future. That's what I would like to see. And I think we're actually in all this right now. You could say that there's a lot of muddle on that, or that water. Um, there's a lot of churning going on, and maybe that churning is necessary for it before it calms down. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that it will calm down and that we humans will see what we need to do in order to have an earth for the future generations. That's my hope, and that we treat each other, ourselves, and the earth the way it's meant to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
I am myself in a little bit of a transition, having finished the book. I also had a big change in our family had a big change in our life. My brother passed away last October from cancer, and I had spent the year um, with him as much as possible. And so now my book is finished, although not finished in the sense of getting it out there. That's my big goal now. My big goal now is I have the time, and I want to get the book out as much as possible. My deal with the universe is I would write the book, I would get it published, and I would do the marketing that I could, all the marketing that I can possibly think of doing. And it's up to the universe to get it into the hands of the people that it needs to be in. And for whatever changes someone might glean from the book. And so that is my job right now. Not job, that's my passion. My passion right now actually is to get the book out and to enjoy, especially when I do a reading like I'm going to do this weekend at the library. I'm going to do a reading and a PowerPoint, and to enjoy the people that are there, and to meet maybe a few new people that I might have in my life, and to open my heart to the success of the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. May it have wings, huh?
Oh, would I love for it to have those butterfly wings? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'd like to meet more of those people that will be joining together to help with the goal that I've been saying. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that Gaia is behind this book.
Thank you. I do too. That feels good. Thank you, Jennifer.
And I think that China is a rising force in the
Mm,
world, and the rest of the world needs to know more about China.
mm-hmm,
For me,
mm,
this book really opens an important window into just ordinary life and ordinary
yes.
in China that you met.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that it's possible to go by yourself as a single woman and just go.
Hmm.
It's inspiring in that way.
Thank you.
We had, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you so much. This has been
Thank
such,
you.
and
It's
it
been
feels
my
good to
pleasure.
do this on the Lunar New Year as we welcome in the fire horse.
Yes.
All good momentum. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
it's
Thank you, Jennifer, for everything.
my pleasure. And
And